Nah. Let's go ahead and talk about Paul
Rosenberg.
Paul Rosenberg stepping down from Def Jam. I just want to talk a little bit about it. I don't really know too much about it. Unfortunately, I did happen to check out Joe Budden's podcast, and they're kind of speaking on it, which especially for this topic and the next topic I'm going to talk about. Definitely not trying to promote them as far as because I'm not getting money from this.
Right.
But I think especially young people trying to go into the music business and whatnot, it would be wise to really listen to some of these interviews, because then you kind of get your jewels and stuff from. Because one thing I can say about Joe may not have been the most successful person when it came to the music genre.
Yeah.
However, I would probably listen to a Joe as far as
getting
advice more so than maybe some of these guys, that just doing music.
Yeah.
Honestly, us, because we're just fans. I'm just gonna be real with you.
Absolutely.
But I would rather, I would listen to them and try to get some understanding. Okay, so this is how it's moving. This is how it's working.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and I don't know much about why Paul Rosenberg is stepping down from Def Jam either, but I'm sure it's a good reason. But he's one of those guys. He's all over the place, so he does a lot of stuff. But the legacy of Def Jam, man, it goes back to the early hip hop days with Russell Simmons and what's my man name?
Rick Rubin, who actually had a birthday.
Did he have a birthday?
I think he did.
Okay.
I think it's today.
It might be. Shout out to Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man. Yes, sir. Happy birthday. He's real spiritual. I see some of his clips from his interviews that he do with rappers, and he's very spiritual, and he's kind of taking on that lifestyle, almost like the Buddhist lifestyle, where he just he's not too worldly anymore. You know what I mean? He's not out there trying to be all, Hollywood and all of that.
They're the ones that got the most grip though sometimes.
Yeah.
And people just you know what? It don't mean shit. We over here trying to rap and trying to get the shit, be all blinged out and shit. And then these bugs nah, we just kind of figured it out. And really, honestly, that's what we're supposed to be, really.
Yeah.
Because money. You need money to do things. I'm not going to say that you don't need to have it, but I don't think you should be sacrificing your life to get it, or selling your soul to get it.
Right.
Because this is just this plane of, not to get super spiritual, but this plane that we in is so temporary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What we looking at now in the near future, and I ain't gonna say near future. We're gonna try to live long as we can.
Yeah.
In the future, overall, you're not gonna be here. You're not gonna see this.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something else you're gonna see one day. Yeah. But anyway, going back to Rosenberg, from what I've heard, and this is just what I've heard from the podcast, is he just kind of had he kind of managed it bad. They didn't kind of have good plans in place.
They weren't really seeing no growth.
Yeah, they just kind of they were hiring friends and things and of that nature. Oh yeah, that's my paper. I'm sorry.
You good? I just
They just that type of deal. Wasn't really, like I said, no growth or nothing like that. And Roy kind of brought up a good point. He said you really pretty much you were really only known for one act.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, you're just known for one act, and that's it. And we basically talking about Eminem. And it's what made Def Jam hire y'all in the hire you in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Def Jam it just had a steady decline over the last few years, man. You can just kind of tell they just weren't the same as what they used to be. Because in the 90s, Def Jam was the shit.
Def Jam was pretty dope. I mean, they wasn't a death row or anything like that. But I mean, as far as like they had some steady bangers.
Because I remember there was one tour that they did. It was like the Def Jam tour, and it was like all the Def Jam artists at the time, and they had like EPMD, Method Man, Redman, you know, all these people who was just hot as hell at the time, and you know who was still doing their thing, by the way. But you know, this was like at the peak of their careers and shit. So it was like, wow, you know, you got all these people, and it was like probably good 15 acts. I think LL Cool J, you know, all of those when they were at the top of their game. All on one tour, man, shit. And they did like an HBO special where they did the same thing, where they had all the Def Jam acts. So yeah, but I mean, it's like once the 2000s hit, man, it seemed like it just went slowly and slowly down.
Well, I think a lot of that was Jay-Z's doing, because like with those, you know, like the Cool J's and all that stuff, they built it up.
Yeah.
He became the president. He kind of like switched the whole paradigm to do, you know, like the whole Rockefeller. Not to knock, you know, what he did. I'm just saying they kind of switched the narrative. But that's another thing they were saying on the interview, you know, at the podcast. Like, you know, Jay would come in and listen to sessions. So like if an artist, you know, we're doing something, he'd come in and listen to the session. Like, hey, you know, you might want to do this or you may want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
tweak things a little bit.
Yeah. Rosenberg ain't really doing that.
Yeah,
he wasn't really doing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if he was, but that's what they're.
He's
that's
not
what
known for that, you know.
Yeah. So
you know, I'm sure we would hear more about that if he was. I don't think I can believe he probably wasn't heavily involved in artist development or any of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so you know, I mean, we shall see. We'll keep y'all posted on that story and any updates about that, you know. So, but hopefully, Def Jam will build their legacy back up, because I mean, you know, they were really instrumental in hip hop culture. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we had groups like Run DMC come out of that. You know what I mean? Because Rev Run is the brother of Russell Simmons, and you know what I mean? We had so much good stuff come out of there, man. LL Cool J. So, anyway. Well, let's, I guess we should move on to...
let's go ahead and talk about Megan Thee Stallion, this whole thing, because this is basically, man...
Speaking of record deals...
Yeah, this is kind of... I mean, it's kind of weird, though. She ain't really... So I'm trying to understand this, too. She don't really have, like, an official album out.
I honestly don't know. I know she has some mixtapes, but I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know.
Yeah, and the way
I just hear her on the radio. She's cool, but she's not enough for me to want to invest in an album. So I do like her, but not enough to really. I'm not that vested. You know what I mean? She's got a little cuteness and sex appeal about her, but that's about it. She doesn't really do it for me as far as listening to her rap. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
but, you know, still shout out to her.
I listened to her story, pretty much her humble beginnings. Like, she pretty much, it was her and her mom.
Yeah, her mom was her first manager.
You know, 1501 came up, and this was headed by, what's my man's name? The baseball player.
Yeah.
It was Campbell, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Carl Campbell or something?
It was somebody I didn't know, so I can't remember his
name. But it's Carl
yeah.
Campbell. I feel that's his name.
Yeah.
We might have to go back and research that, but I think it was like it definitely was a seed, like Peter Parker, Carl Campbell. But anyway, so you got that. You had, you know, Jay Prince was somewhat involved in it because of the whole Houston thing.
Yeah, she's from Texas, so.
So, in order, really, from what I understand, she took like a $15,000 advance. Yeah, and that was to help her and her mom out.
It's different stories about the money, because it was said 15,000. She mentioned the number 15,000 in one of her interviews or live talks, but then also a document said 10,000. But then they also mentioned the dude who ran 1501, the one that she's kind of upset about. He said 50,000 at the time. So I'm like, okay, what number is it? Because he said he got receipts. So it's like, you know, what's the number? But yeah, so she said 15,000 is what she had, and she took it because she was like that would help her and her mom out. Her mom was struggling at the time, so she went ahead and took it, and she felt like she just trusted the contract because she was young and didn't really read much. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing of it was she was trying to go to Rock Nation, so that's another reason that was this whole thing started. She was just they were looking at her as like, let's get over there and see what you got.
Yeah.
And basically, she came up. They just pretty much said, "Hey, this is in your contract. You might want to, take care of this or this, that, and the third." So like she said, basically, she just went and asked, "Hey, let's because everything was so peachy and everything on the label," and then she was like, well, let's kind of, I want to kind of look over the contract.
Right.
And that's when all hell broke loose. Like, the contract?
Yeah.
The contract? You work for me.
Right.
I need the money.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I mean, both sides seem like they're genuinely sincere, so I don't know who to believe, but I will say she's definitely sort of at fault for not examining the contract, or at least getting a lawyer to look at it, because later on then they bring up, oh, well, you owe us this because of the contract, and she's like, oh, well, I didn't know.
Well, the thing of it is, you're from these poor neighborhoods. Well, not necessarily that she was in a poor neighborhood. I just say they're, they were just having like, average or below average means.
Right.
They're in a particular environment, and they were just, for her mom, and I mean, I can relate because, I try to do, right by my, mom and stuff. So I understand like that whole, like, not all the way, but I can understand like that single parenthood, that type deal. And she was just trying to look out.
Yeah.
And so, like, really, you're not thinking lawyer. You're not thinking like, look, we're right now. What we're thinking about is the best deal for us right now.
Right.
And we'll come to all that stuff later. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really. And then on top of that too, with the lawyers and stuff, man, you have to make sure you get the right lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that you probably get someone that's kind of in the business and know, because you can get a lawyer. Sometimes some of them don't, even though they are entertainment lawyers, the music business can be kind of a little,
right.
Because they can be slick with the language, man.
Oh yeah.
Very slick with the language.
Man. But yeah, I mean, and see the first label, 1500 or whatever it was, 1501, they were independent. Then she goes over to Rock Nation where they got this bigger budget and they got these more expensive entertainment lawyers, and they're like, yeah, we got you a lawyer already, we got you this and that. So obviously she was like, yeah, I want to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's more money for her.
Well, they see 1501, not to cut you off, but 1501, they need to sign a distribution deal for 300. Yeah. That's really where the problem lies. Really, the distribution.
That's one of the 360 deals, and Leo Cohen was a big part of that at first. He's not anymore, but you can tell they're probably using the same practices that he left behind. You know what I mean? So,
well, see, a 360 deal ain't all the way bad neither. Okay. Like if you. You know what I'm saying? That, shout out to Carcino, because I was listening to him. They was like, hey, man, Jay-Z signed a 360 deal. Okay. But the thing about Jay-Z is he's so big of an artist that, at that time, that would be able to help him out, because even with the 360 deal, you still getting the promotion. You still getting, if you're getting stuff, behind you, you know what I'm saying? You're still getting like a lot of production, promotion, it's repping up the machine, the machine is backing you pretty much. So for a certain artist, a 360 deal might be good as far as like getting even though there's a lot of hands in it, but that probably wouldn't hurt someone established as a Jay-Z or something.
Yeah, that's true. But Jay-Z, I mean, you're right, he's kind of an exception. But so he always has done his thing, man. So he's very smart. He knows what he's doing. And they know certain people they can take advantage of and certain people they can't.
Oh yeah, so. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what went on. I mean, she's right for trying to get her money and try to do, renegotiate the contract and stuff. She's right by that, but at the same time, she signed the contract, so the company they're trying to protect their best interest.
Right.
This is just business. It ain't nothing personal. They just trying to protect their best interest. Yeah. So I can kind of understand that. They're not trying to, get over on her per se. It's just like, hey, we got these things in place. We got our people in place. We need to do this and that and the third. So it's just things in that nature.
Yeah, I agree. But I hope everything works out because supposedly, they're fighting out a legal battle as we speak, and they're supposed to go to court on March 16th. And right now, the courts have granted her the rights to be able to release music, but only up until March 13th, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Because they got a hold on her music. Yeah. That's another thing too, because of the distribution. Yeah. And the way that's tied up, it could take a couple, and that might be really detrimental to her as far as like if she don't, maintain relevancy.
Yeah.
So,
and I might have said that out of the way. I think they're going to court on the 13th, and I think she has until the 16th to drop whatever music she wants, and then the court is going to decide on the 13th whether or not to let it go past the 16th, I believe. So, hopefully, I don't wish bad on nobody, so I hopefully accept Trump. But I hope
damn,
that she, I hope that she gets through this and, gets to make her money and, release her music. Because, she has a lot of fans, you know what I mean? I'm not that big of a fan. Because I like more lyricism and hardcore hip-hop. But I like what she's doing. I like the fact that she's capitalizing and, she has a decent flow. She can flow. Her content just ain't really what I be wanting to hear. You know what I mean? So, no disrespect. So I really hope that things work out for her, though.
Yeah, to me, looking at her, I didn't know that she was that young, though. Like, she was in her 20s.
Yeah.
So looking at her is like, man, it's not that I'm old or nothing like that, but it's like looking at a child, man.
Yeah,
man. This, this baby out here really trying to do these things, and with her mom passing, it's almost like she's by herself. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
But I think she's tough. I think she'll get things figured out. It is kind of crazy that there's tension because of all this, there's tension between like Jay-Z and Jay Prince.
Yeah.
Because my man got Jay Prince to get into it, and man, it's looking like a grim situation. But hopefully, they'll get to some type of agreement and things will get smoothed out.
Yeah, man. And before we close out anything, I also want to remind y'all, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, share, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. So do that for us. Shout out to everybody on Instagram. I see y'all out there. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. And shout out to everybody on YouTube. And let's not forget Twitter. Shout out to everybody on Twitter, for checking us out. So, we gotta, we getting ready to sign it off, but, we gotta, just remind y'all to just keep tuning in and sharing our stuff with your followers and friends and stuff like that. Anybody who just likes hip hop and just wants to conversate about some stuff, you know what I mean? We're going to have more special guests on the show. We probably going to have Nelly back. If y'all saw the episode from last week, that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
She had us cracking up. And so, be on the lookout because we blowing up this year.
Blowing up.
And we stand corona free.
Corona free. Rain that.
Corona free.
Rain. Rain.
So we're not catching that shit for nobody.
Nobody.
But yeah, man. So you got anything else you want to add before
I think
we
that's
close it out?
I think that's it. We appreciate y'all looking in.
Yes, sir. Yes,
watching
sir.
us today. Anyway, like I said, y'all stay strong out there. Again, we appreciate y'all, and I think that's it. That's all I got.
And, you know, like
stay in school.
Stay in school. When it comes to coronavirus, you know, don't do it. When it comes to the coronavirus, you know, don't allow yourself to panic. Just be smart and make the best decisions that you can.
Don't lick poles or handles.
Right.
I mean, yeah, don't do that.
Don't lick no poles. And you know, you remember that old movie, what was it, Christmas Story, where the little boy put his tongue on the pole?
Yeah, it got stuck, yeah.
That was my joy right there.
The coronavirus get stuck with some shit.
Right. Your mouth won't even close after that. But yeah, man, so for episode 113, this is your boy Kurt, and this is
Howie.
And we're going to see y'all on the next go round.
Peace.